All right, here we go. Dear Hughley, welcome back to VladTV.
It's always a treat when players meet.
That's right. That's right. We drinking?
Always, baby.
That's
boy.
right.
Always.
Well, we got to talk about Diddy.
Uh-huh.
We got to talk about it. A couple days ago, the judge gave him 50 months.
50 months. And time served, so it's like 36 months, right?
36 months of time served.
And a $500,000 fine.
Yep.
And the thing I find, and basically he said that we're doing this to let victims and perpetrators alike know that there are consequences, that the expectation and violence to women, there are consequences for. Which, but what's ironic is a day before Puffy was sentenced, there was a mega preacher who was Trump's spiritual advisor, Robert Morris, I believe his name was.
Mm-hmm. I heard about this.
He had sex with an 8-year-old girl for 4 years. And he got 6 months and 9 years probation. So I think that is a stark example of, so people always say it's about money, but it isn't. One man, because Puffy's argument it was that it was consensual, and the judge didn't buy it. He thought, and he talked about the reason for a stiffer penalty as Puffy got was to dissuade people from trying, to know that there were severe consequences. Mm-hmm. That was in a New York court. In a court in Oklahoma, a man who pled guilty to having sex with an 8-year-old got 6 months and 9 years. And I think the reason that these things continue to happen is because it is a stark example of the way, like when you hear people talk about criminality, they never talk about crime that they, participate in. Like you could say what you want to me about crime, but I think crimes against children, there should be a special place in hell and jail for them.
Agreed.
But one man gets, 50 months and a $500,000 fine. The other man gets 6 months probation, 9 years, 6 months in jail, 9 years probation, and a $200,000 fine. So it's just an amazing place. It's amazing dichotomy. So don't tell me how serious you are about protecting victims when it's not consistent across the board.
Well, look, I had constantly said that he's going to get 2 years, possibly time served, and I was absolutely wrong. The only person who got it right was Judge Mathis.
Well, I guess he would. He done sends enough niggas to it. I guess he better.
I've had experience with this.
Yeah, I guess for him, it's his vocation. For us, it's sport.
It's a sport, exactly. So he got it right. He said that based on what was brought up in the courtroom, and the judge is going to take that into account when it comes to the sentencing. And he was absolutely right.
Right.
Completely right. Now, I think that Trump has already been hit up by Diddy to try to get him out. And he said, I don't know about that. He said some pretty nasty things about me, my first election.
No, not that he did nasty things. That you said nasty things about me.
Yes.
It's that transactional.
Right.
Not that you said nasty things about, that you've done things that hurt the country, or that there's a victim attached to what you did, or that it needs to be penalty of law. That you just said things I didn't like.
Right.
That's
that's kind of wild, actually. He's not addressing the crime at all. He's like, I would have pardoned him regardless of what he did, but
he said bad things to me.
He hurt my feelings.
He's King Joffrey. I swear to God, everything he does is for revenge or self-aggrandizement or to enrich himself.
I mean, do you think that Trump will actually pardon him, though?
I think that in this world, I think that the line had been blurred so much between criminality. One thing's for sure, that America most certainly doesn't care about women victims. That we already know that America doesn't care about them. And now we're learning that they don't care about children. Because, 80% of registered sex offenders in America are middle-aged white dudes, and also that the half of Republicans say they would vote for him whether he was in the Epstein files or not. So what that tells you is that there's a low regard for people who have been victimized, particularly by powerful people. Like, we know who's in the Epstein files because we know who ain't. Because if it was black people or brown people, we know all about it. We know how powerful they are. They're so powerful that no one can say their names.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Trump is in the files, right?
Of course.
That was the whole point.
Of course.
Yeah.
And let's not, any man who grab him by the pussy, any man who would say, grab him by the pussy, and you would excuse that, any man who has dozens of sexual assault, allegations, any man who's found liable for sexual battery has, I think that he has a rapey spirit. And the people who are around him, who, from RFK, it used to be a time that the allegations of being sexually inappropriate would be enough to disqualify you. Clearly, that's not the case now.
Okay, what about RFK?
He was accused of being sexually inappropriate with, I think, his maid. And the thing about RFK is, like that whole last week when they said Tylenol's bad for you, I'm not gonna let a dude who did heroin for 15 years tell me what to put in my body. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did heroin for 15 years and you think Tylenol fucked up? Plus, I can't understand why a dude, how you a minister of health and I can't understand one thing you say, you know what, damn a vaccine, you need a Secrets or a Lozenger.
He's got a
I don't care what he got. That's the thing. Every time I hear him, I want to sing, let me clear my throat. Every time I hear him.
Let me clear my throat.
How come every
DJ
time?
Cool reference in this thing.
I'm like, how? I just need him to go like this.
Let me clear my throat.
One good, like, come on, man. It's like the people that are supposed to protect this country, the people that are supposed to guide us along this path and be shepherds of this nation are the most morally bankrupt, inept human beings. It's the most inept, mediocre group of white men ever assembled.
Ever.
At the head of a nation? No, there's never been somebody like this. Like, we're talking about, and the only qualification is fealty. You ain't got to be good at your job. Not one of the people who was in any position in has ever been good at it before. Like Hespis, like what was he in charge of? Like,
yeah,
you did a podcast and now all of a sudden you're Secretary of Defense. And everybody's talking about DEI, stop it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the head of the FBI. Was it Kash Patel? Well, he has no law enforcement experience.
At all.
At all.
Do you know what's so funny about Kash Patel? So he put out this tweet about Assata Shakur. Mm-hmm. Right? Remember that? He was 1 year old when Assata Shakur was escaped from the jail in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He was 5 years old or 6 years old when she was granted asylum by Cuba. Mm-hmm. But when Dylann Roof murdered all those people at Mother Maranatha in Charleston, South Carolina, he was a prosecutor in the counter-terrorism division. But he didn't know anything about Dylann Roof. But he knew everything about Assata Shakur when he was 1 year old. He didn't know anything about a domestic terrorist, Dylann Roof. So that tells you about his purview of what he believes is dangerous or not.
Well, to be fair, I looked into the Assata Shakur story. It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. I'm not saying it's not
crazy.
But the fact that you invested in a black revolutionary, but you don't know anything about a white domestic terrorist, tells you, like, I can say that both things, are noteworthy. But the fact that you only know one, this man killed 9 people in the church he was prepping.
So he knew nothing about Dylann Roof.
Look it up. He was at the and he's like, who is that? And you're the director of the FBI.
Right.
And we're now talking about domestic terrorism. Even what happened in the previous, like, that has been going on in the last week. Christopher Wray, who was the former head of the FBI, talked about domestic terrorism and how white nationalists and white supremacists were at the spearhead of it. So how don't you know any of that?
Well, speaking of domestic terrorists, the Charlie Kirk assassination.
I don't think it was assassination. I think he got shot.
What's the difference?
The difference is he's not a political figure.
Yes.
No, he's not. He's a political influencer. He's not a...
Okay, yeah,
no, he's not.
Political influencer. No. He's not an elected official.
He got shot. Okay. He got shot. And it's unfortunate. I think, and I think that we live in a world, it's unfortunate that we live in a world and have lived in a country that words can get you killed, but it is a reality. And some of the things that Charlie Kirk said, as far as that he thought that there needs to be death for the preservation of the Second Amendment. He said that execution should be public.
Okay, well, hold on. Death. Okay, the Second Amendment is what again?
The right to bear arms.
Okay, so what is he saying exactly?
He said that then occasionally people need to die, that they're going to be unfortunate, they're going to be gun deaths or deaths. But he thought that people dying by guns, basically, was worth it to keep the sanctity of the Second Amendment alive. And it's ironic that he got killed by a gun.
Okay. I don't totally disagree with that, though. I mean, you're going to have guns. In order to have guns, there will be accidents along the way.
But
right? That's just, it's not a necessity, it's just a reality.
Right, it is a reality.
Yeah.
I just don't think he would be the victim of the very gun violence he was allowing.
Okay, fair enough.
And at the very same time...
That's definitely ironic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's also ironic that you said that he talked about empathy was a new age concept, and now you want it. He talked about how most gang deaths were gang murders. Right when he was saying that, he got shot. Now, he talked about the maladies and all of the things that go on in the black community. Was this white-on-white crime?
Nope.
This is the thing now.
This was, technically it is white-on-white crime.
It is, but it never is quite categorized that way. This is the thing to me. Virtually everything he said, biblically, the power of life and death is in the tongue. Doesn't it say something to all these people who call themselves Christians, that virtually everything he said happened to him? You talked about public execution, it happened. You talked about the guns needing, that there are a acceptable amount of gun deaths, it happened. You talked about a public execution, it happened. Now, I think he was a horrible human being, but I certainly don't think that the predicate is that horrible human beings need to be gunned down. But stop telling me we have a proliferation of angry young white men who get guns. And then they tried to make this, it's delineation. It's not, was he transgender, if he left, he right? If he's transgender, if he wasn't transgender, he's a white guy who have a dick. And if he is, he's a white guy who doesn't have one. But the predicate is they're angry white dudes.
Dick or otherwise.
Dick or otherwise. The dick can be gun. The fact that the gun is there is the problem.
Right. Dick is optional.
Yes. So I don't understand. It's still angry white dudes. Virtually all of the political violence in America is angry young white men who they insist on giving access to guns.
Well, the shooter was 22-year-old Tyler Robinson.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, do you think that it wasn't him? Do you think there's a patsy?
I think this. The one thing I know for sure is that young man lost his life. The one thing I know for sure. And I don't have faith and confidence that people's agendas won't be forwarded or protected. But I do know that the federal investigative bodies came up with, at least a couple of weeks ago, that there was no leftist organization involved in it. So if that is true, then we'll hear less and less about it. Listen, we know more about Donald Trump's hatred of Rosie O'Donnell and Jimmy Kimmel than the two people who tried to assassinate him. When you would think that Rosie O'Donnell and Jimmy Kimmel took a shot at him. They didn't.
Right.
But you don't hear anything about the dude who's alive, who was supposedly plotting his demise, and the dude who was killed. You don't hear anything about him. Why?
Not sure.
Because I know if a motherfucker shot me, you hear about it all the time. So it's disingenuous to believe that we're trying to get to the bottom of it. What it is that they're trying to say these acts are perpetrated. Everybody knows. Whenever I can always tell when a white guy did it because he's in custody And they never mentioned his race.
I mean, the guy that shot Donald Trump was not in custody.
He's dead.
Right.
And you never heard anything else about him.
I mean, what's there to hear at this point? He's dead.
What's the point? Still, you got to know his motivations. Still, you got to know who he's around. Still, you got to know what prompted this. Still, you got to know. You tried to assassinate somebody who was running for the presidency of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. And we don't know anything about him. We don't know what the status. We haven't seen a medical report of the president. We don't know how close this was. We don't know how connected it was to other organizations. We don't know anything. Why? Because nobody gives a fuck. Either it wasn't real or the answers you don't like.
Well, I think this was real. I think, Tyler really was the shooter. I know Candace Owens has a whole conspiracy that he wasn't the shooter, and there's all types of other stuff.
Well,
I got a video that kind of said that, the movie Snake Eyes, Nicolas Cage kind of predicts it because the guy that got shot on the same day, he's got a similar name and blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. Like,
well, you know what they say? In paying it for, people get shot every day, B.
Right. Yeah.
But I do find ironic about this whole thing is the day that Charlie Kirk was shot, there was a school shooting, I think, in Colorado. And had Charlie Kirk lived, he would have thought that those deaths were acceptable. And I can't stand when he said some horribly vile things.
Yeah.
And you can't make a comparison to Martin Luther King and then tell me that when I hear what he says that I'm taking it out of context. I don't ever recall having to contextualize Martin Luther King. Never. And whenever somebody says you're taking it out of context, they want me to excuse the racism they did. I don't need to taste a lot of spoiled milk to know it's spoiled. I ain't got to go, oh man, taste it again.
Yeah.
That's what they do because he said if what he said wasn't so problematic, why is it that people got fired for quoting his words?
Well, Jimmy Kimmel ended up getting fired and then rehired for making a joke about Charlie Kirk, really more a joke about Trump.
Right.
Not really caring about Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Caring more about a building that they were constructing.
And that was true. It happened.
Yes. He actually played the clip.
Right.
And then he got fired instantly. They brought him back, a week later?
Well, what he did, because corporate people are cowards, what he did was they suspended him indefinitely. Mm-hmm. That's the corporate, because everything they do is going to try to cover their asses. They suspended him indefinitely. And then there was they lost almost, they lost billions and billions of dollars. They lost 1.7 million subscribers. Yeah. They lost billions of dollars.
People started unsubscribing from streaming services. Yeah.
So they went from Hulu to Yulu. That's what we're talking about. And they bought him back. And then there were a couple of people that were holding out, syndicators. I forgot what their names were.
Yeah, one of the big syndication companies basically said that they won't broadcast it, even with the apology and so forth. Oh, they did?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that. All right.
Of course they did.
Okay.
Do you know why? Because at the end of the day, this is the Second Amendment doesn't preclude you from saying anything to me or me from saying anything to you. You could get on, you could say, I'm so offended. And it's happened to you, just like it's happened to me. Where people are so offended, let's boycott or let's cancel such and such, right? Right. The Constitution doesn't protect you from that. What it does protect you from is where the government can, the chairman of the FCC basically said, you either do what we want or we'll do it. You can do the easy way or the hard way. Then, after everything fell apart, they were like, we were just joking. Both J.D. Vance and the head of the FCC said, oh, it's just a joke. Because the one power that the population of America still has is the power of the purse. We can still not do shit. And then they tried to bring up Roseanne. Roseanne was fired from ABC, not because the FCC said that if you don't do it, we're going to block this merger or make this harder. Disney decided to fire her because she said that Valerie Jarrett looked like the coupling of the Muslim Brotherhood and an ape. That's what Roseanne brought. And the ABC went, you know what? And then Roseanne said, well, I was taking Ambien. Ambien makes you sleepy, not hate niggas. You must have been taking nigga talk.
I never heard of that before.
That absolutely happened.
That absolutely happened? That's what she took?
She said, I was taking Ambien. I took Ambien a lot of times. I didn't hate niggas when I did it. I just like, so I think that there's a conflation in this country between the Second Amendment doesn't mean that people or organizations or groups can't target you. They can't single you out for cancellation. It means that the government can't use the awesome power of governance to do it.
But that's what they did.
That's what they did. That's the problem.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. And everybody should have a problem with that. Everybody. You, me, Tucker Carlson, everybody should have a problem with that.
I had a big problem with it.
Sure, of course.
It freaked me out. I mean, not because it could affect me, but just the fact that this is someone that does something kind of similar in my space.
No, because it could affect you.
Well, I mean, I'm on YouTube, so.
That make a difference.
Yeah, I guess they could go down on YouTube too, right?
They can.
No, you're right. No, that's true.
Everybody has to get permission to do whatever they do.
Well, speaking of comedy, right now is the comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, the Riyadh, the Riyadh Comedy Festival, which my man Ari Spears is performing at. I believe he already did it. But it's a hell of a lineup. Aziz Ansari, Pete Davidson, Kevin Hart, Bill Burr, Russell Peters, who we both know, Louis C.K., Chris Tucker. A lot of names. And Dave Chappelle.
Sure.
Dave Chappelle. There was a rumor that Bill Cosby was performing, but it's not true. It's not true. I'm honestly happy that these guys are getting, from what I understand, a huge check. Let me just say this. I called him Aries, and me and Aries do business. When I said, how much you getting for the show? He said, a lot. I said, how much? He wouldn't tell me.
Right.
It was that much.
Yeah. Man.
I heard they were paying like 10 times as much as what they would get in the States.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I can say this. Why do we focus on comedian when Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post? Mm-hmm. A reporter from the Washington Post was slaughtered by the Saudis. Mm-hmm. And they're together. They're shaking hands together. They're friendly. The Saudis had Live Golf, right? They tried to take over the golf. All those golfers left. Phil Mickelson and several top-line artists left and worked for the Saudis, right? Mm-hmm. What the fuck do I give a damn about what Chappelle and other comedians have done? Donald Trump is in business with the Saudis.
True.
So let's stop having a conversation, because that's what this country does. They distract you. I don't begrudge anybody. Pete Davidson's father died in 9/11. He's over there. Because at the end of the day, we are a transactional society.
Well, but Saudi Arabia had nothing to do with 9/11.
That's not true.
Okay, Bin Laden came from a Saudi family, but the Saudi government did not was not responsible for 9/11. Argument.
How many people who were involved in 9/11 were Saudis? 16.
Okay.
So don't tell me.
But the government itself. That's like saying how many Americans were involved in some sort of horrific act.
That's plausible deniability. What they did, that's plausible deniability.
I don't think the government was behind it. I don't think so. I just don't think so.
What I'm not going to do is, here's what I will say is this, that they attacked countries that didn't have anything to do, but didn't have a representative that was involved in 9/11.
Afghanistan got attacked right after 9/11. Not Saudi Arabia.
We attacked somebody that we attacked Iraq, and not one person who was involved in 9/11 was from Iraq. Not one.
We didn't attack Iraq over 9/11. We attacked Iraq over 9/11. We invaded Afghanistan over 9/11.
And where else? Iraq.
Let's look this up.
Iraq.
Jeez.
Where was Saddam Hussein from?
You're right.
Iraq.
You're right. Afghanistan.
Of course I'm right.
I didn't know that part. Okay. You're right.
Yeah, of course. We attacked
in 2003, okay, here we go. So in 2003, the U.S. invaded Iraq partly on the premise of combating terrorism and weapons of mass destruction, although it was later found that Iraq had no connection to the 9/11 attacks. Okay, so that's why I didn't know it, because it had nothing to do with the attack. But Bin Laden was actually in Afghanistan when he was launching the attacks. So that's why we attacked Afghanistan.
Afghanistan There's a tenuous argument to be had for why we did that. Iraq, why? Under the auspices of well, they were foam. They had weapons of mass destruction, but
Right.
they didn't.
They did. Yeah.
So we didn't attack Saudi, which we know had 15 people or 16 people
16 people.
that were from Saudi Arabia that did it, but nobody attacked them. Nor did we say anything bad about them. Why?
In fact, I remember that a bunch of bin Laden's like siblings were brought back on private planes.
Of course they were.
Right when it happened.
Of course they were.
To get them out of harm's way, potentially.
So
yeah.
excuse me if I don't take it seriously, that you take seriously comedians going to perform for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, listen, I'm perfectly fine with it. But there was an interesting quote where Dave Chappelle said that he could speak more freely in Saudi Arabia than in America.
Of course he can.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's,
I don't know about that.
let me ask you something.
I think Bill Maher and Louis C.K. were talking about this, and they were like, yeah, do some jokes about Muhammad. See what happens over there.
Okay. There are this notion that you can speak freely in America was tenuous at best, but now we know it's almost non-existent. We know it's almost non-existent.
Okay, you're not going to tell me you can speak more freely in Saudi Arabia
I'm
than
telling
America.
you this.
That's insane. No, I'm not co-signing
okay,
this.
well, here's what
this
I will
is not
say.
true.
Here's what I will say to you.
Not under a kingdom with one single king with no free speech, no elections, nothing.
What I will say is this.
Go say fuck the king of Saudi.
But
Go over there, see what happens.
Here's what I will say. I would never have an occasion or a cause to say fuck the king. I don't have an experience with him. But from the experiences I have, from the things that have affected me.
So chopping up the journalist, that's okay with you?
I think it most certainly is not.
Okay.
But it's okay with Jeff Bezos. It's okay with Donald Trump.
Wait,
It's okay with Liv Go.
Jeff Bezos did what again?
He owns the Washington Post.
Right, I get that. Well, doesn't Amazon own the Washington Post?
And he owns Amazon.
Well, he's no longer an employee at Amazon. I believe he's a big shareholder
Let's be
of
clear.
Amazon. Amazon's a public company.
Let's be clear.
Jeff Bezos doesn't own Amazon.
Let's be clear.
He owns a chunk, big chunk, but just a chunk.
Does he own the Washington Post?
Amazon owns the Washington
Okay,
Post.
he
He
owns
personally does
Amazon.
not own that. He owns shares of Amazon, which in turn owns the Washington Post, as well as a bunch of other companies. Whole Foods and so forth.
I just think that it's a disingenuous argument.
Listen, I'm usually in agreements with you, but in this case,
This man
I think we're blurring the lines of reality
We're not blurring
here.
the lines of reality at all.
I think we are.
Saudis murdered a reporter that worked for a company that this man is in business with, right? That's fair.
Yes, that's fair.
And he didn't have a problem at all being friendly with him. The President of the United States of America doesn't have a problem with the people who murdered a reporter, right?
Correct.
Or having his son-in-law do business with them.
Right.
Why the fuck am I talking about Dave Chappelle? It's a disingenuous argument.
Listen, all I'm saying is he cannot speak more freely in Saudi Arabia than America. That is just a false statement.
That's bullshit. The things I would
You
speak about,
really believe that?
I absolutely believe. Because why would I need to talk about the king of Saudi Arabia? I haven't had experiences with him.
Okay, all types of
So
topics.
why would I need to?
All types of topics.
Why would I need to
talk about make a joke about Muhammad.
But why
Make
would
a
I
joke
need to?
about
I don't
Muhammad.
why would I need to?
I'm not saying anyone would need to. I'm not advocating anyone to do it. I'm just saying that there's
When you're talking
all
about
the things you could say fuck Trump. You could say
Exactly, because that's what I would say.
You could talk about Jesus. You could talk about Buddha, Muhammad. You could talk about the Jews, whatever else, and you will not get thrown in jail. In Saudi Arabia, you will get thrown in jail.
Why would I need to talk about something I
It's not a what if I need to. I'm saying if it happens, this is the ramifications of it.
Everything. My source isn't edified by any of those experiences. I can only talk about what I have experienced. I don't know what it's like to live under a Saudi kingdom. I do know what it's like to live here.
Okay.
So why would I even need to address what's going on in Saudi Arabia? Because it's a foreign concept. You talk about apples and bowling balls.
But he said, I'm just saying that statement that he said is not true.
It is absolutely true from his experiences.
Okay.
It is absolutely true.
Okay, from his experiences.
Exactly.
Because he's never had to actually push the envelope in Saudi Arabia
why would he need
the way that he has pushed it in America.
But why would he need to? Because he lives in America.
But he's visiting Saudi Arabia.
But he's
you cannot speak freely in Saudi Arabia. You cannot speak freely in China. You cannot speak freely in Dubai.
You can't believe that. You can
speak freely in Dubai?
Why would I need to speak freely about a thing I've never experienced?
Okay.
What does he experience?
I feel like you're cherry picking here.
No. I feel like what you're doing is making black. Here's the thing. I can only talk about all of us are the sum total of our life experiences.
Okay.
All I am is what I am, what I believe would happen, and what happened, right?
Okay.
So if I went to Saudi Arabia, I don't know shit about them. I know shit about here. I don't know anything. There would be not an occasion for me to even talk about the sheikh or the Saudi Arabian apparatus. I don't know what they are. I know what here is.
Let me put it like this. Have you ever, during the course of your comedy career, your stand-up career, have you ever done terrorist jokes?
Sure.
Okay. Would you feel safe doing terrorist jokes on stage in Saudi Arabia?
I feel like I would do this. I feel like when I performed in Abu Dhabi, right?
Okay.
And the one thing you couldn't do is do something insulting to the sheikh.
There you have it.
But
point made.
I don't know anything about him. What I did say is this. I said, there you can have as many women as you can afford.
Wives, yeah.
Wives as you can afford.
Right.
And I said, I would hope they never met each other.
Okay.
So I don't have to. Here's the thing. With people, they think it's so exact. Speaking truth to power. But it is. But only the power I am an expert in. Only the power I've experienced. I don't know what it's like to live there. I don't know what it's like to have to to bear the yoke of that. I know what it's like here. So it's a disingenuous argument to tell me that me making blanket statements about things I don't know anything about is an affront to power. I don't know anything about Saudi Arabia.
Do the same terrorist jokes you've done on American stages in Saudi Arabia
but
or Abu Dhabi or Qatar, and you will not have a good reaction after that. You might get put in jail.
What you're saying is this, that I need to do those things, or I would have. First off, I'm not talking about terrorists right now. I would talk about terrorists right now in Saudi Arabia. I talk about white domestic terrorists.
American terrorists, yeah. I get it.
So you saying that I can't talk about terrorists? I can't
Middle Eastern terrorists.
See, now you're being disingenuous.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, talk about Middle Eastern terrorism in a foreign country,
Brad,
in a Middle Eastern country.
There are more terrorists that look like Trump.
I'm not arguing that.
So
I'm not saying one is worse than the other. All I'm saying is there's the fact that they told you do not talk about the sheik tells you right there that it's a whole different situation. Because when you go, has there ever been a club you performed at where they said, don't talk about the president?
I tell you what did happen.
What happened?
I performed, they asked me to perform for George Bush.
Okay.
And they wanted to vet my jokes.
Wait, what was this?
It was during his administration. And they wanted to vet my jokes, and I wouldn't do it.
George W. Bush, I said.
Yes.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do it.
Hold on. This is an interesting story. I hadn't heard this before. So you were asked to perform at the White House?
Yes.
You and who else, or just you?
I can only tell you me.
No idea. Okay, got it. So they asked you to perform, and they said what? No jokes about the president?
They wanted to vet my jokes, and I'm like, no.
Okay.
No. What you are saying, you said I couldn't talk about terrorists. I know more about terrorists, domestic terrorists, than I ever did about Saudi. I know more about terrorists. Who blew up the building in Oklahoma? They were domestic terrorists.
Correct.
Who shot up Mother Maranatha? They were domestic terrorists. Mm-hmm. Who attacked the Capitol? They were domestic terrorists. So you made the argument I couldn't talk about terrorism. To me, the terrorist that is integral in my life, where I have a focus on, I could talk about terrorism, but they don't look anything like them. They look more like us.
Okay, make a 9/11 joke. Make a 9/11 joke in Saudi Arabia. Make a 9/11 joke. I mentioned the 16 people that came from Saudi.
Here's the thing.
All I'm saying is,
an argument.
It's not an argument. It's a valid point. The fact is, they might throw you in jail as you leave the stage.
It's not a valid point.
They might actually throw you in jail when you're on the stage.
I'll tell you why it's not a valid point.
Okay.
Because that happened 20-some years ago. I don't know about anything I'm talking about 20 years ago that I would make a joke about now. Now, if we're talking about terrorism, I could talk about what just happened in Chicago as terrorism. But what you want to do is connect these things together. I could say certainly that from my experience, and that's all a comic is, all an artist is, he draws from the well of his experiences. I have never had an occasion to live under the yoke of the Saudi family or Saudi Arabia. I have had an opportunity and experience to live here. And I know that there are more black and brown people that have been killed or hurt or maligned or castigated in the name of domestic terrorism than ever I have in international terrorism. I don't know one person I've ever known that got hurt or challenged by Saudi by Middle Eastern terrorism. I know a lot from domestic terrorism. I know a lot.
We can agree to disagree.
All right.
We agree to disagree on this one.
Right.
Bad Bunny was chosen to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right.
I put out a tweet that went viral. That got everyone upset. I'm still standing on this. I understand that my Spanish viewers are upset at me and so forth. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'm wrong by saying that in an event that is 85% English speaking, to have an artist that doesn't perform in English at all.
That's so...
to me, that doesn't make any sense.
Here's why it makes
musically,
sense.
As a music person.
Here's why it makes sense.
Okay.
You can't call it the World Championship without inviting the world. The Super Bowl...
It's not a world league. It's an American league.
Well,
it's not open to football teams. It's not World Cup. It's not World Cup. It's not the World Cup.
See, we're gonna have a different argument. First off, 7 states in this country are of Spanish origin.
Okay.
7 states.
Origin.
There's only one country that has more Spanish-speaking people, and that's Mexico. You know who number 2 is? America.
Okay.
America. You're playing games in Brazil. You're playing games in Europe because why?
Trying to expand.
Right. And if you're trying to expand the game, then if you're going to have if you're trying to expand, see, this is the thing about America that I always had a problem with. We want to take, but never give. We want people, you want China to buy your soybeans. You want them to buy your whiskey. You want them to buy your product, but you don't want to give them anything. And if you're going to have a relationship, we're a global society right now. And if we're going to be a global society, that means you have to give as much as you get. This is the thing, America, I don't understand Spanish and I don't speak Spanish. You don't have a problem when you order Mexican food. At all. You don't have a problem when you go into Cabo. And here's the thing that's in America, the Super Bowl, most football fans, one thing, but most people are spectator sports. They coming for the food. You're not gonna hear Bad Bunny over the crunch of your nachos anyway. Bad Bunny is more of an American citizen than Melania Trump. He is.
Right, because he's Puerto Rican.
So let's stop speaking. How is it that the language that your parents taught you has become the language of subversion? How is that possible?
What do you mean?
Now it's insulting that you speak the language, your mother tongue, that you learned in America. You learned that language in America. But now to speak it is an affront to Americans?
I don't get it.
Bad Bunny learned how to speak Spanish from his parents, probably, right?
Right, because Puerto Rico is a colony, an American colony.
They can die in our wars.
Okay.
Right? They can die in our wars. We eat their music. We consume their music.
Look.
They can vote.
Can they vote?
Of course they can vote.
Can Puerto Ricans? Hold on.
Stop. They have a governor. The president is Donald Trump.
Residents of Puerto Rico cannot vote in the U.S. general election for president.
They can,
despite being U.S. citizens, the same restriction applies to other U.S. territories such as Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands,
they have representatives.
And Samoa.
They can vote. They can't vote in our general election.
They cannot vote in the general election.
Right. But they are our people, right?
I get it. Listen, if it was,
can he come here without? Can he come here? Can he? If Bad Bunny decided to live in America, there would be no impediment to him coming.
I believe so. Yes.
Right.
Okay, he can live in America. The whole point is, you have an event where 85% of the U.S. population, which is the target audience at the end of the day, not even the target audience, this is the biggest audience of this actual event. Yes, there's an overseas audience. It's about a third of the audience, but only 10% of them.
I bet it won't be a third. I bet it won't be a third this year.
It'll be a little bit bigger, possibly, because you'll have more Spanish people.
Right.
I understand what they're doing. They're trying to expand. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. In the same way that, take a country like Mexico, go to the finals of the biggest soccer game that they have, the biggest soccer league that they have, the finals. Do you think an American artist is performing at that halftime show?
No, why it isn't? No, why?
Do you think an American artist, they want to say, oh, well, Kendrick performed in Mexico City and sold it out, because those are Kendrick fans that are going specifically for the Kendrick show.
Corporate America knows that they want to expand their brand.
Right.
Corporate America knows it.
I get it. I understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying that I'm oblivious as to why they're doing it. I just think it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Last year, I watched people tell me they didn't understand what Kendrick was saying. I watched people in this country say that. I don't know how many people made posts with their grandparents and their parents say, I don't know what he's saying and why. The thing about us is, if you want to watch the Super Bowl, you have to do things you're not used to doing. You have to accept the fact that people, like, why do people feel like if I don't know a person, they're not relevant? He's one of the biggest stars on the face of the fucking earth.
Primarily the Spanish speakers.
What's
your favorite Bad Bunny song?
He's one of the.
What's your favorite Bad Bunny song? Exactly, because you don't listen to Bad Bunny because he sings in Spanish.
Do you know why I don't listen to Bad Bunny?
Because you don't speak Spanish.
No, that's not why.
It is why.
For the same reason I wouldn't know who half rappers are. For the same reason.
You don't listen.
Because I'm a 60-year-old dude.
You could be a 20-year-old dude. If you don't speak Spanish, you're not going to get into the music because they're speaking a foreign language.
Let me just say this.
I'm so frustrated by this argument.
I'm very aware of what I believe I know. There's certain foods I don't eat because I haven't been exposed to them. There's certain things I don't read because I haven't been exposed to them. To me, who speaks for me, I don't know Bad Bunny for the same reason I don't know a 25-year-old artist from anywhere. For the same reason I haven't seen some movies, or the same reason I wouldn't wear some things. That doesn't mean that my purview is the predicate. People should be able to do what it is. There were people, I hadn't heard a lot of Kendrick Lamar. This country has said, "E pluribus unum," out of many one. Mm-hmm. And now it's being asked to prove it, and now people are having a problem with it.
Listen, I'm happy he's getting the opportunity. He's a superstar. I totally get it. But at the end of the day, I don't know a single person who is not Spanish that listens to Bad Bunny. Cannot name you a single song. Some of these people are actual DJs.
My
professional
daughter's a DJ.
musicians,
my
and so
daughter's
forth.
a professional DJ. If I call her right now, she'd know a song.
Okay.
You say you don't know a single person. If I call my daughter right now, now this is just me and you talking.
I asked DJ Envy the same question. He's a professional DJ who DJs all throughout the week. When I asked him his favorite song, he's like, "Oh, I think it's this." Same thing with academics. I think it's this song.
Envy's in his 40s, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
My daughter's in her 30s. If I call her right now,
so is academics.
I can call her right now and ask her. She's a DJ. I can call her right now and ask her a song. Like, to me, I don't. That's the thing that is so disingenuous about us. Why is it that it has to be my vantage point? Why does it have to be what I know and what I'm comfortable?
I actually want to take you up on this bet. You want to call her up?
Yeah.
Let's put her on speakerphone. I want to see. I want to see this in real time. I'm actually going to take you up on
right
this.
Right now, where's my phone? Hey, baby.
What's up, guys?
I'm here with DJ Vlad.
Yeah.
And he was saying that most DJs and most Americans don't know a favorite Bad Bunny song. And I was saying my daughter does. And I said she's a DJ. What's your favorite Bad Bunny song?
It's called EO. I don't know if you know how to pronounce it.
All right.
EO.
I stand corrected.
EOO. And then, obviously, TT whatever, but that's plays all the time. But EO, what is that song? Hold on. Party is my ish.
When I said about Bad Bunny and you were like, what did you tell me? I said, what?
Nueva York.
Yeah. So when I asked you, because I was like, I don't know who he is.
All right, you win this round.
And I
get it.
I asked you, what did you tell me? I said, I don't know who he is. And you're like, what did you tell me?
I love Bad Bunny. That's my guy. Not even because it's like the most requested, like Drake and him are mostly requested, but I like actively, because I play a lot of Latin places, I do need to know the music.
Okay, so she knows about it because she plays in Latin.
Well,
places.
no, because you can't.
It's a little bit skewed.
What you said
a little bit skewed.
No, it isn't skewed. It's her experience.
No, I got it.
It's her experience.
Not the typical American. She plays in Latin places as a DJ.
No,
I get it. I walked into it. I said even DJs don't know. Okay, I get it.
I specifically got a residency at this place, and I had to, and I, was like, okay, I don't know.
Did you know Bad Bunny songs before you got the residency?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
What you said was this. You see, this is it.
But I particularly started honing into more Spanish music, not just Bad Bunny, Daddy Yankee. But I grew up on that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So your argument was, you said a DJ wouldn't. You DJ envied it. And I said she's younger. I said I know my daughter does, because when I heard about Bad Bunny, and I was like, because originally I thought like, why are they having a Spanish dude host the Super Bowl? And I talked to my child who taught me the things I'm telling you.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. You got this one.
All right, baby.
You got it.
All right, love you.
All right,
Thank you.
Bye.
And that's the thing about us. We think we know everything and that we can't learn from everybody.
No, fair enough.
And I learned from her. I learned to accept things I would have never accepted before. I have a lesbian daughter and a gay nephew. My younger people taught me how to accept that. Because I love them, I wanted to learn. The thing about America is we think we know every fucking thing. And what we know is all we're willing to take. Like a Christian will tell you, Jesus said it, I believe it, that's it. I believe that everybody else has a right to have an expansive experience or an expansive expression I don't know anything about. And why are we saying we're an inclusive country out of many one if we only think the one is us?
All right, you got this one. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm sure it's going to be a great show. I'm sure he's going to outdo himself. I'm sure there'll be a huge Spanish audience that tunes in and check it out. And he even addressed, I'm not saying he replied to me because a lot of people were saying the same thing I was saying, but he was on Saturday Night Live and he said, "Oh, you have 4 months to learn Spanish."
Right, you do.
So,
I just think, why do we think, this is the thing that's so funny to me, we'll have a world championship with just us in it.
No, I mean, listen, when you have like the World Cup, you have Spanish artists performing all day long. No one ever says anything about that. No, everyone's fine with that.
Because we have a world championship with New York and LA. We have the World NBA Championship, the World Series. We call it the world. And think that the world is between the Pacific and the Atlantic, and it isn't.
No, I mean, I think in that regard, though, I think it is justified because when you look at the American leagues, the best talent from the rest of the world usually comes to play here. Outside of soccer. Of course,
but that doesn't mean...
When it comes to baseball, when it comes to basketball, nobody's trying to stay in their home country if they're on a world-class level.
The best, I would say that the largest number, if we name the top 10 current NBA players right now, they ain't from here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But they all play here. That's what I'm saying. Luka, Jokic, these are all guys that come over here.
What you're saying to me is a different thing. I believe they all come here for our opportunities.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we still encompass the world. What we think is that money and exposure is the predicate. There are people who contribute things to us that if you look at who is the most influential people in America in terms of culture, in terms of style, who are they?
Black people?
Of course. But they wouldn't say we were powerful.
Some are.
They wouldn't. If you were talking to an old white guy, he would never say what you said. You know why he would never know it? Because that's not in his purview. But because your business requires that you to know things.
Right.
Why is it that we limit our grace? We limit our perspective to what we know. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to give people the right to be as expansive as they can. I want to learn. Mm-hmm. How do you learn when you think you know everything? In America, we think we know every goddamn thing.
Well, speaking of sports, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul in November.
Right.
How do you feel about this?
I think that it's a gimmick. I think Tank is going to make money. I think Jake, like a lot of people, wants to stack the deck in his favor. Because he weighs 80, 90 pounds more than 100 pounds.
Well, yeah, they actually limited. He went down.
Okay, what he went down to?
225 to like 195.
Okay, he went. So Tank is fighting 60 pounds above, 40 pounds above his weight, and he lost a lot of. It's a gimmick. It's a clown show. But that's what suffices.
Yeah. So basically, Jake has about 30 pounds on Tank
now.
Yeah.
But then
you're right. After the weigh-in, I mean, look, according to...
It's a funny thing when you say 30 pounds. 6 pounds changes weight classes.
Right. 30 pounds it's a circus.
It is.
That's really what it is.
It is.
Right. Look, according to betonline.ag, Jake Paul is the underdog at plus 139. Gervonta is the expected winner at minus 180.
He's not going to win.
No?
I think if they're fighting a real fight, he wins. If they're fighting a fight where there are incentives for him not to win, he won't. You trying to tell me that 60-year-old Mike Tyson couldn't beat the shit out of Jake Paul? You trying to tell me that for real? Stop.
Look, I had Gilbert Arenas on here on Saturday. He told me, I can't confirm this really happened, but Gilbert is a pretty honest guy. All my dealings with him has been straightforward, so I'll just say that. He says that he spoke to someone that was close to the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, and he claimed that the person told him that if Tyson knocked him out, he would essentially get no money.
Exactly.
And I know what I was told before the fight, and I know what I watched in the fight.
What were you told before the fight?
Tyson got was supposed to get $0 if he knocked Jake Paul out. The fight had to go all the way through. That's what I was told.
You were told by someone that actually knew.
Mm-hmm.
I
can't confirm or not, but if you watch the fight...
Jake Paul is threatening to sue people over statements like this.
No, I mean, but I don't give two shits either way if it's rigged or not. I'm watching, I'm entertained. I love Jake Paul. I look at what he's doing.
And I've heard that before. So it's always a gimmick. People always want the spectacle. If America looks itself in a mirror, it would be a funhouse mirror.
Well, I mean, Jake Paul did lose, though, already.
He hadn't lost to...
Tommy Fury.
Yes. But that dude couldn't have... Like, I can't tell you why that happened. I can say this.
No, but he lost, is what I'm saying. So if he already lost to a Tommy Fury, why can't he lose to a Gervonta?
Because Gervonta Davis is a world-class fighter now.
Right.
A world-class... Tommy Fury was never... I don't know what he is.
Yeah, I don't even know who Tommy Fury really is,
but
to be honest.
He's Tyson Fury something. Gervonta Davis is a world-class athlete now.
Yeah. World champion. Yeah.
A world-class athlete.
Although that last fight with Roach, I thought was...
A young world-class athlete now. He's powerful. It's a gimmick. And this is what America's become. This thing with a preordained outcome. We don't fight unless we can win. We have every advantage possible. And that's what I think has sullied sports. If I want to see, like when Evander Holyfield was going to fight somebody, I was like, if I want to see two old niggas fight, I'll wait till Thanksgiving. I ain't got to pay for it. I'll just wait. Why the fuck I gotta...
I'll wait till Thanksgiving.
I'll just wait till niggas get drunk and then start fighting. It's stupid.
I was not ready for that.
It's stupid. I will.
Wait till Thanksgiving.
It's a fight at my house every Thanksgiving.
Every Thanksgiving, huh? Okay.
For everyone. So I'm like, why would I need to pay that?
Okay.
I'm a Boone's Farm bottle away from a world championship.
Well, speaking of boxing, Tyson and Mayweather are supposed to fight.
Another gimmick.
According to BetOnline.ag, Floyd Mayweather is -500, Tyson is +300. So Mayweather is 5 times likely to beat Mike Tyson. I don't quite get that either because that's a huge weight difference also.
Listen, I can't explain why they're doing it. I know that both of those men are among the best that ever did what they do at any weight class.
Facts. Yeah.
But a good big man is going to be better than a good little man every time. I don't care. I would say that Mayweather is one of the most skilled human beings that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't mitigate that power. You can't.
Right. Tyson is older now.
I don't care if he's older or not.
He's significantly older than Mayweather.
So it's significantly older,
Like
but they're
20
still
years older?
But they're still they're both still past their athletic primes.
Tyson much more so.
Doesn't make a difference.
You could say that Mayweather's still in good shape. I think he's relatively close to his prime.
You're saying
Tyson is not.
So how long has Mayweather been boxing?
What do you mean?
How long has he been boxing?
Since he was a
almost
kid.
20, 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Any job you did for 30 years, you'd be ready for retirement from.
Okay.
Any job.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck if it's the post office, a boxer, sanitation worker. If you did a job for anywhere from 25 to 30 years, they be circling the calendar. We don't know how much longer he gonna keep coming here. Because you'd be ready for retirement. So I don't care how old he is. He started when in his teens, now he's in his 40s.
Well, look, I want to say this. Terence Crawford definitely lost to Canelo.
You're insane.
Said no one ever.
You're insane. I
said no one ever.
I was gonna say you're insane. I was getting ready to leave. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
That fight was so one-sided.
It was.
Man. And you know something? Because according to the odds, Canelo was supposed to win.
Big and strong, yeah.
But Crawford just completely dominated that fight from start to finish. All my guests were all saying Crawford. Oh, but I was asking, I was like, is it a racial thing? Or are you rooting for the black guy? And, some of them said yes. Some of them said no. They really believe that Crawford's the better.
He's a skilled boxer.
Yeah.
He can fight both sides. He can take a shot. He can give a shot. He knows angles. He's right and left-handed. I never thought, what I didn't think would happen, what I did think would happen, I thought he would catch him with some shots and he'd have to gut it out. He never even hit him.
Oh, you mean Canelo never hit Crawford?
Canelo never even hit him. No. And I like Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo's
I think he's a powerful boxer.
Yeah.
I remember when Bernard Hopkins was fighting Tito, and everybody thought Tito would win, and I knew Bernard would. I'm like, and Bernard said, "You ain't gonna beat me with one gun. It's dudes that are so skilled. Like what we see ain't what they see."
Mm.
The thing was that even though Canelo was bigger, Bud was taller.
True. Yeah, but Crawford had to go up in weight to fight Canelo, though. Canelo was naturally stockier, a bigger guy. That's why I thought, with all the experience, everything else like that, I think Canelo was going to win. But Crawford proved me completely wrong.
He proved the world wrong. When Crawford took it out of his shirt at the weigh-in, I was like, this is over now.
Because he was all ripped up?
He looked like he carried it well.
Yeah.
Imagine being a great boxer and you move up and you get to eat a little more and live a little more. Like, I saw them at the pre-fight on Netflix, and he was eating fried chicken. I went, this thing gonna whoop his ass. I get to eat fried chicken and fight? I'm feeling fuck this nigga up.
Well, what was crazy is after the victory parade in, Nebraska?
Yep, Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Where I'm playing Thanksgiving Eve. I have a gig at a theater in Omaha.
Okay. Well, he gets pulled over by the police.
Of course.
And they draw guns on him.
Of course.
Stepping out, seatbelt.
Step out.
I'm opening the door.
You can take
I'm
mine
opening
off
the door.
of me right here on my right. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Was he actually leaving the parade when that happened?
I can't tell you. Here's the thing about this country. The more things change, the more they stay the same. June 1st, 1921, in the Greenwood section of Tulsa, Oklahoma, a riot breaks out in Black Wall Street, right? White people get in planes and throw fire bombs at black people. It was the first time an American city was bombed from the air. And 300 people died, many of them children. First time. The second time it happened was Operation Move in 1985 in Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia police dropped a military-grade weapon on an apartment building on Osage Avenue and killed 12 people, 5 were children. September 30th, 2025, at an apartment building in Chicago, the military raised that building and takes children out, naked children out in handcuffs. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They don't know who Bud Crawford is. They know he's a nigga. And we need to stop pretending like that's not the legacy of who we are. We are who we are. And every iteration says it. When they dropped a military-grade weapon on that apartment building, the citizenry was incensed. The city council was incensed. You know what happened after that? Nothing. Not one person went to jail. Not one person was brought up on charges. So if that is our experience here, why would it be different just because a man? There would be men, black men returning from war, fighting the axis of evil. And they would be hung in their uniforms. Why? Because this is who we are. So Bud Crawford winning a championship, I think is significant, but it doesn't compare to you defeating Hitler. And you still, you could defeat, and they would hang them because they had their uniforms on. So why is that different? A man coming back from Vegas or a man coming back from Germany and treated like second-class citizens? How could that be different?
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It was a crazy situation. I was definitely sad when I heard that.
Sad is, it seems familiar to me. It seems sad, but it does seem familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in his hometown when you think this is the most famous human being in the whole state right now.
Well, no, Warren Buffett's probably more famous.
Oh, yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah. There you go. By
a lot. By a lot.
No, I think 30 and below, I think Bud Crawford is way more famous.
Listen. Anywhere around the world, you say Warren Buffett.
Yeah. No,
anywhere around the world, you say Buffett.
I got rich following Warren Buffett.
Okay.
So I can't say shit,
okay.
right? You know, I love Warren Buffett.
You talk to me like I don't know what I'm talking about.
I know,
That's so crazy to me.
I don't know, but I'm saying at that moment, I would say at that very moment, that day, when you show a picture of Warren Buffett and Bud Crawford to every single person in Nebraska, they would probably say Bud Crawford.
It depends on where they lived.
I've never been to Nebraska.
I have.
You're about to perform there?
I have, yes.
Okay, I've never been there, so I have no idea. I'm just talking right now.
I've been. There's nowhere in this country, not a state in this country I haven't been to.
Okay. And what is different about Nebraska?
Well, we're having a conversation about Bud being the most famous person in Nebraska, not by a long shot. He's not. He's not by a long shot. But I think that like all of the things we do, we're prisoners of the moments we're experiencing.
Okay.
Warren Buffett could have paid for the fight that Bud
right.
he could have paid for. So I
paid
do
off
think,
the whole thing.
right,
Yeah,
like
no,
right now,
no, you're right.
It's Saudi Arabians that go, wow, this motherfucker got money. So let's not.
Yeah, that's true. They know Bud Crawford.
Right. Right. And it was a Saudi there at the.
Right there. Yeah, front row. Right there, ringside.
Right. So I think that we tend to view things from our vantage point and don't leave room for there might be another angle we're not seeing.
Well, when I posted on my YouTube forum that you were coming to do an interview, someone brought up a back and forth you had with a guy named Brandon Tatum.
I don't know who, Officer Tatum, right?
Yeah, the guy, the cop.
Right. The guy, no, he's not a cop. Do you know when you call yourself your old job, you don't think much of what you do now?
Okay.
So I think that he is a unremarkable human being. I think that the one viable commodity that black MAGA people are is their ability to regurgitate white supremacist talking points.
Yeah.
And they can only do it a couple. They're not refillable. So when your only value is saying bad shit about black people, I don't need you to do it. I don't need just you to do it. Anybody can do that after that. So I think he's an unremarkable man who's the kind of human being that MAGA likes black men who do what they're told. Name me a remarkable. This is a thought exercise. Name me a remarkable black man that MAGA liked.
A remarkable?
I'm talking about remarkable that all of us can agree is a remarkable human being.
Steve Harvey.
MAGA don't like him.
I mean, he met with Donald
meeting
Trump.
with him. I'm talking about with MAGA champions him, like a Tatum or like a fucking Byron Donalds or like those people. Name me a is Clarence Thomas remarkable?
No.
He's obedient. Is Tim Scott remarkable? He's obedient.
I mean, Kanye's remarkable in certain ways.
Kanye's a remarkable man who they co-opted, but his experience, they glommed onto him. They kind of be attracted to each other. Mm-hmm. But even he says things they don't like.
Right.
What they don't understand, MAGA likes Republicans. MAGA likes black men for the same way they pick their dogs, because they're obedient. They'll never have a stamp or school. They'll never be remarkable. Do you know why Clarence Thomas got the job? Because Thurgood Marshall was retiring.
Correct.
And they needed a black dude, and he was the only one around. He never spoke for decades. He never issued a minority or majority opinion. If Clarence Thomas didn't take a picture with the Supreme Court, they thought he was a janitor. He would have thought he was a janitor that was photobombing. And he is one of the. And the thing that's funny now is that with Charlie Kirk gone, this new iteration of white supremacists has no use for people like that. Did you notice any one of them speaking at his funeral? Was there a black person that spoke at his funeral? Was Candace Owens, who carried water for him, did she speak at his funeral? Did this dude, whoever this dude is, speak at his funeral? No, because you're window dressing. What you are is a fucking picture. You're a photo op.
Would you put Candace Owens in the same category as Brandon Tatum?
Sure. They're refillable niggas. Yes, they're Negroes. They're useful. And when they're not, do you think that she was going to turning point over to either one of them? You think that now all of a sudden this is the analogy I made. There were times when slaves were told by their masters that on the event of my death, you'll be free and you'll have an exalted position. And when those masters died, the family or the high organization was under no obligation to honor what he said anymore. Where are those people now? Struggling to be relevant. Struggling to exist. Candace Stock and Trade right now is telling you that what they're telling us isn't true. He is fighting for a dead man's legacy. I don't know what the future is in that.
Well, let's switch gears for a second. Nicki and Cardi B have been going at it.
Sure.
And the reason I bring it up is because it devolved into them talking about each other's kids.
Sure.
You've dealt with this.
Yes.
When beefing with various other people.
We know who it is, so yeah, okay.
Yeah. How do you feel when you see famous people tearing down each other's kids, talking about their looks and everything else like that, when the kids really had nothing to do with it?
Well, I think that it's the same thing. A hit dog will holler. I don't care if he got a lot of money or a little. I don't care if it has great experiences or not. I think it's unfortunate. Character is what you do in the dark, and most of us never have to exhibit it. I think that even though that person said things that damage the relationship with the daughter I talk to right now, you just heard me talk to, I don't feel inclined to do that to them because that's not in my nature. But that is in a lot of people's. That don't make me better or worse. I'm just telling you that's not in my wheelhouse. But most people are not that far removed. You know that if you let a pig in the wilderness for long enough, it'll revert back. It'll grow tusk and thicker hair. Everybody's on their way to being what they are. So it takes very little prompting to make people cede to their natural inclinations.
I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Nicki fan. I was just on TMZ recently, and they asked me about the whole beef, and I had brought up a tweet where at one point Nicki was beefing with Des Bryant.
I remember.
Remember that?
And Des said it was, yeah.
And said, I'll put up $10 million for you to fight my husband. He's like, I'll stomp him out in front of you. I tweeted, I said, Des, I got an easy way for you to make $10 million. Host a fight at Chuck E. Cheese.
Hilarious.
Because her husband's a registered sex offender. So I mentioned that because I remember when there was the back and forth, Cardi B was like, hey, it's your kid's birthday today. Why aren't you at Chuck E. Cheese instead of arguing with me? And I feel like that was kind of a reference to that. So I'd mentioned that in my interview with TMZ. And right afterwards, Nicki dissed TMZ and she tweeted, very little albino dick, VLAD. And I'm like, that's the best you come up with?
I think it's sad. One thing I'll say about Cardi B, I think she seems organic to who she is.
Oh, 100%.
And I think Nicki's a tremendous artist. Yeah. But I think that when there are things at play, I think that I'm happy when I see somebody who looks like me and has had similar experiences to me do well. But I also think that when I think that people are going in a direction that I'm not comfortable with, I think that you meet people where they are. I think you meet people who are. There are people that I despise, and I despise them. Like I can think of black men I despise, and I despise them because I think their motives for, if I could respect you if I thought we were all after the same thing. Like we could go to San Francisco, you could take the 5 and I could take the 101, we gonna get there. So we can argue about how we get there. But I think if people who are, like I think there are men who are so disingenuous and so harmful to people that I love that I say I despise them.
Can you name these people?
Sure. I despise Van Jones.
Really?
I despise
Van Jones.
him. I despise him.
Why?
The latest example is what he did on Bill Maher when he talked about how Iraq and Iran were responsible for the propaganda around Gaza, and how if you open your phone, all you would see is dead baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, Puffy, dead Gaza baby. I'm like, the whole of the world, the entire world, the entirety of our world, Europe, every human rights organization, Israeli military, retired Israeli military, any objection, the whole of the UN have said these things exist. A white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, said this exists. And yo, simp ass said don't. Like Jason Whitlock is this dude, this is the funniest thing to me. He goes, D.O. mean down low. To never see, because you're like, first off, if I like dudes, I would like dudes. I wouldn't pretend like I didn't. That's what I would do it.
Right.
It's not my inclination. 2 things you'll never see: me with a picture of a dude romantically, and him with a salad. And this fat dude, you fat motherfucker, don't worry about where I put my dick till you can actually see yours. But you are a simp. Like him, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. I can't stand Marcellus Wiley. They all do the same thing.
Wait, Marcellus Wiley?
I don't like him at all.
Really?
I don't.
That's my man right there. Okay. He's a regular on my show.
Okay.
Why?
Because
why do you not like Marcellus? This is the first time hearing this.
They make hating us convenient. They make hating us
really?
normal.
Yes. I've never picked up that. Okay. Like we've had serious conversations about race and everything else like that.
I can only tell you this. I've given you my reasons. I think Marcellus, who the fuck do you know? What black do you know? Like, who the fuck is gonna be Jason Whitlock's co-host? Like that, like how are you?
I mean, not currently.
No, because they didn't want either one of them. They're unremarkable men who say the shit that white people...
I disagree on the Marcellus Wiley
You
part.
disagree with me a lot.
I think Marcellus is dope. I think he's intelligent.
I think that Marcellus Wiley, like the shit that he just said about Jimmy Kimmel, all Jimmy Kimmel had to do was apologize. Jimmy Kimmel got his job back without apologizing.
Wait, Jimmy Kimmel did not get his job back without apologizing.
He apologized
on his first appearance back on his job.
Before he knew that Jimmy Kimmel would get his job back, he said, Marcellus Wiley said, all Jimmy had to do, if he would apologize, he got his job back. We got his job back without apologizing. I think Marcellus Wiley, I think that Jason Whitlock, I think that Van Jones make white people way too comfortable for me. They say a lot of shit that makes them comfortable, and I think that's their stock and trade. That is my estimation.
I haven't picked up. I'm not Van Jones. I'm not very familiar with. Jason Whitlock. I'm not a fan of. Marcellus Wiley.
Marcellus Wiley was Jason Whitlock's co-host.
I get that, but it doesn't mean that all his views are the same.
I think that Marcellus Wiley said
so many things. Can I get Marcellus on?
You can do whatever you want. I'm going to say the same thing I say. Now, this is a little bit...
I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
I'm going to put my phone down.
I despise him.
Okay, I'm not going to... No.
I think that what he does...
If there was a chance of y'all working it out, I would have gotten him on FaceTime, but this does not appear to be the situation.
When your goals are so different than mine, so antithetical.
Okay, so I'm going to say this, based on my interviews with him, and he's been on, I think, about 3 or 4 times, I did not pick up on that. Now, granted, I'm not a black person.
Right. I am.
Right? But I have mixed kids, and you know
me, so you can understand what I'm saying half the time.
Yes. So maybe I am tone deaf to certain things.
You know me a long time, right?
Yes.
I say what I mean, right?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not doubting
people dig it or not.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Kanye. I don't care if it's I'll say what I mean, right?
I would just disagree on this point based on my personal relationship with him. Now, you're allowed to have whatever, you know.
Thank you.
Whatever opinion. You don't need my permission, of course.
Just say what I feel.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to sit there with someone that I'm cool with, who's been a regular guest on my show and so forth, that's always been 100 with me and so forth. I'm not going to sit there and agree just because you feel a certain type of way.
Well, we weren't talking about your feelings.
These are your feelings, not my feelings. Right. And I'm saying, Marcellus, I'm not co-signing this.
And I am.
And you are. Okay. Well, in our usual fashion, we're going to switch. And you can grill me.
This is our second iteration of me interviewing you.
Correct.
I was always interested. Now, initially you were introduced as a DJ.
Right.
But now you're different. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you're what you think you are. Are you a DJ? Are you an influencer? Are you an interviewer? What are you? Like what because you know, we can hyphenate you all we want, but what do you see yourself at?
I mean, I'm a former DJ. I haven't DJed in 15 years.
It doesn't say former DJ Vlad. It says DJ Vlad. So what are you? What are you?
I mean, when I first started doing VladTV, I was still DJing, and I DJed for years and years. I'd won Mixtape of the Year awards. I DJed all around the world. I've done Australia, Asia, Europe, Middle East, and so forth. You know, the Tupac Rap Phenomenon mixtape, I just was one Mixtape of the Year. I did that with Dirty Harry, Green Lantern. I did the Rock Phenomenon mashup tape with DJ Rock Raider, rest in peace, from the Executioners. That one mashup of the year. So I have the trophies and everything for that. So I was really fully into the DJ thing. But then in 2008, I shifted into interviewing. So the name still stuck, but I'm really Interviewer Vlad. If you want to be
So you
specific.
call yourself Interviewer Vlad?
No, I just call myself Vlad, but I'm technically an interviewer.
What do you think it is that you do? Because there are a lot of people who are DJs. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who have podcasts. There are a lot of people who get, people on in interviews. What is it you've been able to do? Because you clearly have carved out a lane that's very unusual, given, where you came from. So what do you think it is that you bring that makes that possible?
Well, I think I was first on the scene on YouTube. So when YouTube first launched in 2008, I saw the potential instantly. So I threw everything I had into it. I stopped DJing, I stopped doing mixtapes, I stopped hustling on the side and so forth. And I just threw everything into the interviews on the YouTube platform. And I kind of stuck with it the whole time. I'm the only person that's from that era still around that's significantly doing numbers. But I think outside of that, I kind of approached interviewing in a 60 minutes type of fashion, where I felt like in hip hop, it was all just softball questions. It was promo. People dropping albums, so they would go do radio in New York and Miami and LA and whatever else. And a radio format is not long form. It's just snippets between the songs. So no one really got deep into the interview process. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the 60 Minutes of hip hop. I wanted to dig and ask the hard questions, talk about the uncomfortable stuff, get into people's life stories, get into a lot of the stuff they talk about in the music, and actually talk about it, which no one was really doing. These days, it's commonplace. Like what I do, I feel like a lot of people do. But I feel like at the time in the hip hop space, not generally in interviewing, but in the hip hop space, I was the first person to take that kind of approach, which is why people started calling me the police and the feds and that type of thing.
But that has happened. And you know, people could call you culture vulture, people could call you police, the feds.
Yeah.
Yet, you still find a way to have interviews that are resonant. You still have relationships that are resonant.
Yeah.
That takes what? Why does that still, what intangible do you have that makes, because any one of those allegations leveled at anybody is a death nail. It can kill careers. It hasn't at all. It's almost like you're Teflon. So why is it that exists?
I think I have a deep competitiveness spirit when it comes to what we do. Like, I am looking to get the biggest interview and ask the toughest questions and have it get the most views. Like, Tekashi 6ix9ine's done a bunch of interviews, but when I sat down with Tekashi, it's the biggest thing right now. It's at like 7 million views combined. It's the biggest thing. I think everyone in hip hop is sort of tuning in and watching it as it's dropping every day. Even though there's another interview that he just did recently that's running also that no one's really paying attention to. I think what I do is no different than what you do on stage. When it's time, to perform, I go all out. And outside of the interviews, I'm constantly trying to get the biggest interviews, the biggest guests. I just interviewed Elon Musk's dad again. When the allegations came out about the underage abuse and so forth, the first thing I did was hit him up and said, "Do you want to talk about it?" He said, "Yeah, I want to talk about it." Next thing you know, I'm doing a South Africa interview remotely, but still doing an interview with the world's richest man's father.
Right.
And I really just try to compete. I try to.
Anybody who knows you,
function.
I think. But I've seen. Actually, I'm on both ends of this. I've seen this different. I think that whether people like you, dislike you, trust you, or like you, or one thing there has to be is a certain level of trust. What do you think people can trust you to do?
I think that you've never really seen me do things like record phone calls without people's permission or put out footage that people didn't want out. I think that if you sit down with me, whatever I tell you is going to happen is actually going to happen. So if we have an appearance fee set up, you will get paid. You've never heard of anyone suing me, right? Over money that's owed to them. Oh, Vlad promised me this and he never paid me. That's never happened. You see this in other, in the music industry. Oh, the label owes me this and this manager took this or whatever else. You've never heard that with VladTV. So there's that. So you know that the business is going to be good. And you've never seen me do anything underhanded. Like there's never been anyone that said, Vlad recorded my phone call and put it out without me knowing. No one's ever been on a hot mic and gone outside and that footage has ended up on VladTV. Even though there's been hot mic situations sometimes and I've always been like, no, turn that shit off. Or just, trash it. We're not going to put it out. So, and if a person sits down with me and says, listen, I don't want to talk about A, B, and C, I will respect that. And when I do other platforms, I'll say the same thing and they'll respect that as well.
You have carved out a niche, like you said, you were first, right? Mm-hmm. Who is your disciple? Who is the person you think has learned the most from you that you're proud to have influenced? Because it's no point in being the first unless you want to keep perpetuating what you do. So who do you think is somebody who's doing it right, who is somebody who you go, wow, I think he gets the mission? Who is that?
I think there's a few people. Adam 22 from No Jumper. I think he still actively watches my interviews. I just did a show yesterday. Me and him are actually good friends. We talk all the time. He's built a platform that's different than mine.
Right.
What he does is not what I do, but there are
You
similarities.
can understand the celebrities, right?
But I can understand that, Sean Cotton from Say Cheese TV, when we did our first interview, he used to tell me that he was working at Best Buy and he used to watch my interviews during his lunch breaks, and then that made him want to pick up a camera and start, and he's done very well with it. Traplo Ross has done well with it. He doesn't do exactly what I do, but I think I was an influence. Academics, I think I influenced him to a certain degree. He's done well with it. I mean, he's probably, I would say, the biggest voice in terms of hip hop music right now.
Right.
In terms of like his opinion on where hip hop is and where it's going, in terms of with his connections with people like Drake and Playboy Cardi and NBA YoungBoy. I was just at an NBA YoungBoy show, which Academics took me to backstage. These are all people that I think watched me at certain places in their lives and are younger than me and have done extremely well. And now we all kind of work together in our own way. So, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Those are the three that really pop in my head.
What disappoints you about this medium? Because, God doesn't give with two hands. So there have to be things that have been disappointing to you about this medium. What would that be?
I mean, I think the most disappointing thing overall, which I've had to just accept, is that there's going to be lots of times where I've given people their first interview and it's a big look and they've taken off. Their careers have taken off after that. Not to say it was my, because of the interview, but I contributed to it. And they hit a certain level of fame and they'll never go back to VladTV again. Like, I've given Migos their first interview ever. You don't see Migos on VladTV. Like, in fact, I just ran to Offset and he was sort of acted a little funny with me when I met him, right? Even though he's like, oh, I know who you are. And that was it. That was the end of our conversation. And that to me is a little bit frustrating because it's like, they will go, these same artists, like, for example, I was talking to G Herbo's manager recently, and he was supposed to do Vlad TV, and he was like, something, I just don't think he wants to do it, and I think I think it's just a pass, like a soft pass, but I don't think he's going to do it. And I looked, and G Herbo has a new interview on a podcast I've never heard of, and it got 678 views. Not 678,000 views, 678 views, less than 1,000 views. But yet you won't do Vlad TV, but you'll do this unknown podcast that nobody will watch. But you won't do the platform.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know whether people start to believe the hype, oh, Vlad really is the feds, and they don't really think for themselves. I think that they know there's going to be a bunch of tough questions that other platforms won't ask. So maybe they're scared over what might happen once they do Vlad TV. And I also think sometimes they have people in their ear, like management and so forth, that are like, oh, no, you don't want to do this platform. We want to do something else. We want a different type of look. And I don't know. It's frustrating. But it doesn't happen with everybody. Lots of people come back and do Vlad TV lots of times. But it's just in those moments I get annoyed.
Well, of course, because everybody wants to bat 1,000, and that's impossible.
Right.
I would say this about you. You've never been anything behind the camera that you were, or in front of the camera or behind the camera so you're consistent with me. I don't ever feel, I think that some people feel the need to explain their relationships to people. Like, I've known a lot of people who people have said, what do you think it is that, because you have a very eclectic group of people.
Right.
As much as, you could have people that say one thing or another, but there's most of us who, are in your sphere don't really have a lot of we have the color and maybe gender and all that, but there are not a lot of things that connect. Why it's a ragtag bag group of people that are in your orbit? What is the connective tissue, you think?
I think it's the audience. The audience reacts to all these people. So I could have a Dio Hughley, and then I could have a Traplo Ross, or a 1090 Jake, or a Michael Franzese, or a Sammy the Bull, that none of these people have anything in common.
At all.
Yeah, and then you have a Ari Spears, you have a Charlemagne,
right.
You have Marcellus Wiley, who we just talked about, Michael Jai White, Judge Mathis. Like, it's really all over the place. It's really just everywhere. Zab Judah. Like, I'm really just thinking about the people who I actually communicate with. It's really the audience, man. It's not really, I mean, it is up to me because I have to genuinely like the person also. You can't, there's certain interviews, even though the audience might react to it, I just can't do it anymore. I just reach a point where I was just like, I can't have conversations with this person anymore.
Right.
It's just draining my spirit.
Right.
But generally, if the audience reacts to them, like a Boosie especially, or Tony Ayo, I mean, it keeps going on and on, that makes me look, okay, like this is someone that I want to keep working with and I want to incorporate into the whole VladTV universe. And over time, we develop relationships. I mean, not every person, right? Like me and you talk on a regular basis. Me and Aries, not so much. Me and Boosie, not so much. With us, it's kind of more of just like, okay, we get together, we do our thing, and then we part ways. Me and Michael Jai White have become good friends over the years. So it's always, with me, the lines get blurred because to me, some of my coolest friendships are people that I can occasionally do business with as well.
Right.
Like, okay.
So that's a treat, though. That's an extra.
Yeah, it's like we rock with each other. We like to talk. We get on the phone.
We
and
drink
every
a little
so
bit,
often
eat
we
a
can
little
both
bit.
make some money.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
it's like, and it's not like I'm not paying you to be my friend. Right. When I pay you, there's a profit that gets made, so we both walk away with something. You see what I'm saying? As well as just the overall look and the way we're presented to the world is something that we both like.
Right.
So
it's transaction.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the final question, and I think I've seen you, because I know this is a personal vantage point. I've seen you have relationships with people that were like, I never thought these people could ever get along.
Okay.
I never thought it's fuck you, we'll have to be in the same space together. Then I watched you all forge at least a cordial cohesiveness that seems to be different than how it started out.
Well, who are you talking about?
Well, I thought Wack was one guy.
Yeah,
right?
that's one of them, yeah.
I thought Wack. There are a couple others, and I don't want to bring them in, but
you can bring them in.
I never.
I'm open to it.
How did you go from this polar opposite to forging? Because it doesn't matter what you think, the audience has to accept it. And if the audience, the one thing I know about the audience, if they see you uncomfortable, they ain't gonna be comfortable.
Yeah, right.
So what happened there?
Watching the Vince McMahon documentary was an eye-opener to me because Vince was the first person that I really got to see in a documentary format that was so purely focused on business that the ego just wasn't even part of the equation. They showed multiple instances where he had WWE people that would leave the company, bash him publicly, sue him, win the lawsuits, and he would bring them back, pay them, incorporate the lawsuit and the beef into the storyline, and everyone continues to make money all around. And in the situation with Wack, there was a business situation that was supposed to happen. I was supposed to interview Game, and he was managing Game at the time, and we try to do it, and it didn't work. Like the booking just did not work. So I just sat there and said, okay, like I don't think Wack stopped it. It was just working with Game without Wack wasn't working. So we had each other's numbers, and the fact that he was working with Adam at the time made me look at him a little bit differently because I'm friends with Adam, and if Adam's working with him, then there might be a potential relationship here at this point. So when we got on the phone, I mean, really the first thing I said was this. I said, look, we could sit here and rehash what happened 10 years ago, but at the end of the day, we've all done well. That situation didn't affect any of us. There's a business deal on the table. Do you want to get over it and move forward with it? And he said, yeah. And that was that. So we moved forward with it. Game came in, did the interview. Wack was there. He played, he did not try to get involved in any type of way. He actually left the room for us to have our interview. Me and him started to talk. I brought up the idea about him coming to do VladTV and actually talk about some of our past issues. He was with it. And I just got to see that this was a different Whack that I dealt with 10 years ago. He actually grew as a person. The level of ignorance and craziness that I went through with him 10 years ago was now replaced, by not a pushover, but a guy that's actually looking at the big picture. And since that time, I remember him and Traplo Ross got into it, and it was a slightly similar situation than what I went through with him. And I got on the phone with him, and I sort of explained to him the big picture. And the next thing you know, he called up Ross, and they worked it out, and then everyone's friends again. So at the end of the day, you could talk it out with people if both people want to talk it out.
Well, I think you could talk it out with people if both people are reasonable human beings.
Exactly. And in this case, Whack was a reasonable human being. Lord Jamar, me and him didn't talk for like 5 or 6 years, and he texted me, and we got on the phone, and we were both reasonable about the situation. We both addressed what happened. And I remember one of the things I said to him, I'm like, yo, the thing that really bothered me was you were like, yo, unsubscribe from VladTV and subscribe to Lord Jamar. And I'm like, yo, you're trying to hurt my business by doing that. And he said, we all knew VladTV wasn't going anywhere. Like, come on. Seriously, do you really think that really had a big effect? And I'm like, all right, that's a fair statement.
I will say this. I know, and I'll leave it here. I hope that you keep that same mantra in all circumstances, because I think that there are things now, and I'm not going to be too specific. There are things now where I know great people on both sides, and I just hate that. And these are all times and places and things. I just want you to be open to the possibility of things that could happen, even though they don't seem like they can right now.
I know what you're talking about, and you and I had a conversation, and you asked me to leave a certain situation alone, which I have left alone out of my love and respect for you.
And I had a conversation with him too.
Okay, we can talk about that afterwards. My whole thing is that if you look at what I've described, all these situations have been worked out because both people wanted to talk. What you're talking about, the other person doesn't want to talk.
That's fair. What I'm saying is,
right?
What I want is,
and I'm willing to talk, but the other person doesn't want to talk.
What I want to say
so
is, hold out
when one person doesn't want to talk,
that's
it's
fair.
back to fuck you again.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
That's how I'm looking at it.
That's a hell of a thing to leave an interview on. Back to fuck you again. But I think
I can be on that. I can be on that.
But back to fuck you again is the name of the new project we're working on.
Right, but at the end of the day, there's me and Suge Knight had a conversation, a few months ago. When it really comes down to things, there's no advantage to keeping a level of animosity with another human being.
I don't think so.
Right?
No, I think
not everyone has to be best friends.
For
right?
me,
but to keep going back and forth with someone, I can't think of too many situations in my life where that's advantageous to anybody.
I think for me, intimately knowing, and respecting all the parties involved, because to me, generally what I found is even with people I like, one of these motherfuckers is wrong. I'm like, but I don't see that here. I think that in this situation to me, there seems to be a miswiring, an unwiring. So I would say this. I hope that the same grace and hubris and nuance you add to situations with people that were like guns and let's fuck you and I gotta bring guards. If you can do that, then hold out the possibility of something else. That's all I'm saying.
Sure, but
and Back to Fuck You Again is the name of my new project.
But listen, have you ever worked it out with anyone without actually having a conversation with them?
I'm not like you. I hate people forever. So I hate people. I'm going it ain't back to fuck you. I just never left. So
right.
So But I think
it's like Tom and Jerry, just on site, no words spoken, just
I don't
boom.
like you. I don't like you. And I'll never like you, and it'll always be the same. And even if I pretend to like you right now, I'm gonna hate you as soon as I get back in the car. So
Yeah, listen, not everyone has to get along. Me and Joe Budden went at it for like 15 years, and then one day we ran into each other at Bergdorf Goodman, of all places, in Manhattan.
wait, let me tell you something. If I ran across some of the motherfuckers I hate Bergdorf Goodman, it might like that's the UN.
Right. Nobody fights in that place.
Bergdorf Goodman is the Switzerland of
Right.
It's
Exactly.
the UN of
That's right. That's right. It's like what is it? John Wick? What's that hotel where no one can fight at? It's that.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, Joe has said publicly, when I see Vlad, I'm gonna fuck him up, and I got the lawyer money put aside and whatever else. And when I would go to places where Joe was, I'd bring security with me just in case we ran into each other and so forth. And I was prepared for the bullshit as well. There was a situation where he was walking out of a strip club where I had one of my guys with me that, he was willing to do something to him, and I'm like, we're not doing that bullshit. But we ran into each other, and we just shook hands, had a quick conversation, and kept it moving. And we both discussed it on our platforms.
Yeah, man, let me tell you something.
And now you don't really see that back and forth anymore, because we actually met in person. We had a conversation. We shook hands, and we kept it moving.
There's a guy, and I'll say this now, I'm leaving, who I called. Like, I remember I wouldn't deal with Shannon, but then now I would, because I think what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said
There's
that
a guy
last
I
time.
called who was my frat brother, who I'd said some crazy things about, because I didn't like the way he's moving. But you know what I said? I said, I'm going to give you grace, and I'm going to do everything I can to treat you differently than I do before. So the next time, if I ever have to say to you again, it's because I've run out of what it is, I promise. And so far, and talked to him and said what I said, and it's been cool.
Wait, so you talked to Shannon Sharp?
No, I talked to, I'm not going to say who it is, but I talked to a guy who he'll say some things that are way out, and I'll go on these long rants, and we'll go. I said, I'm going to give you the grace and the belief that it comes from a different place than mine. Not a better place or worse place, but I believe that we have the same goals in mind. And so
Yeah.
I never have had, I dig you, I talk to you all the time, I am proud of what you're doing. If I had a problem, I'd say what it was, and I've called you before.
Yeah, you call me about your problems.
Right,
Yeah,
and like,
true.
hey man.
Yeah.
And I think I just want you to keep the possibility of reconciliation.
It's always been there.
Okay.
But reconciliation can't happen when one person wants to reconcile.
That's fair.
And the other person says, I don't owe you a conversation. You see
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying? Like, what do you want me to do?
That's
what do you want
fair.
me to do? But like I said, I haven't spoken about that person publicly. We're not even speaking that person's name right now.
Right. But
Because
we
I
know.
told you.
This is the best interview I've ever done. All right, man, let me get my old lady.
Yes, sir.